Hello. I am Copley, with me is Raiders. Say hello.
What up? What up? What up?
We're here to bring you a fantasy podcast.
So, this is the first time we've ever done an RML fantasy. It was a bit tough to do, logistically and time consuming, but we did it. We limited players and we did it. We've got everyone's picks, we've got the Daddy Leagues page up with the stats, and yeah, we'll go through a few topics, I'd say, about what we think is the best players, sleeper picks, why we chose our teams, and yeah.
Alright, so let's start off with your team.
Alright, let
Do you
me
want to take us through
let me
it?
find my team first. Alright, so QB, I've gone for a bit of a bias homer. I've gone for Josh Allen for the Bucks. I think Mark is playing really well. I know he's played the Falcons and I think the Browns, who are two relatively new players, but in those wins he has pretty much destroyed them, And
Yeah.
Allen is getting a touchdown at least, solid 250 yards. So I've gone for him as my cheap $2 option as QB.
Yeah. I also went for a cheap QB. I was originally going to go for Kyler Murray, but I changed it last minute. I'm going with Cam Newton because I think he gets slept on quite a lot.
Yeah, he does, but the thing is, he'll have a few weeks where he just has insane production.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Cam Newton has thrown for 3 touchdowns in each of his past 2 games, so...
Yeah, and he's actually third in the passing yards list behind only Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes.
So hopefully he can really pull it out the bag.
Yeah.
Who are your running backs?
Alright, so for running backs, let me just find my list again. I could have gone for Hob. I did my pick before my game. And could have gone for Hob, but I decided not to go because if I did pick him, then Redskins would, target me.
Yeah.
So I went for Joe Mixon, yours of course, because he is the leading rusher in the past few years, and I believe he was third in the MVP list last year.
Yeah, something like that. He's done pretty well.
I couldn't not go for Mixon, and then I went for a cheap option in Michelle because, I don't know, I feel like I seen the stats recently, and Pats has ran it more with James White, which is a bit concerning. But for a cheap option, I'm sure Michelle will get at least a touchdown. Maybe not yardage, but I'm hoping he gets a touchdown for $1.
Yeah, well, he had a touchdown week 1 against the Dolphins, but not week 2 against the Jets in that weird 7-6 game.
That is that is the weirdest result I think I've seen in RML. I think there was a game 2 seasons ago with waxing someone where it was 3-6 or something, but I think that is definitely the weirdest one I've seen in a long time.
I also went for Mixon. I think good value to be had there, but of course I would say that. And my second running back was Saquon Barkley. So I've put a large chunk of money into my running back position.
You went all in on the running backs, and Barkley is now actually the leading rusher because he ran for 200 yards against Beef as well.
Steve was out, he had a point to prove.
Yeah, he did. He came into a chat once and he was telling us Barkley should be a 5, and there you go. He's rushed for 200 yards. But we'll see, I feel like people sleep on Texans a bit as a player. He's really good offensively, but his defense is what makes him.
Definitely. But Saquon, touchdown in each of his last games. Always one to have a lot of production.
Alright, and now on to wide receivers. Why don't you say your wide receivers first?
Okay, my wide receivers, I went for Samuel and Boyd, because I only had $5 to go.
Oh, yeah.
For those
two solid picks, though.
Yeah, for those that don't know, my number 1 wide receiver, Tajay Sharp, took a nasty injury, so Boyd is going to be my new wide receiver number 1. And I think he's not that good. I've got a lot of depth receiving, so I might have to, spread the love.
Yeah, for sure.
But Boyd, he's definitely got the talent, 90 speed, 94 excel, 86 overall. But yeah, I'm definitely a run first team, so that's why he's so low in the prices.
Yeah, he's much more cheaper. And plus, Colts now, if he does watch this before your game, or if he does know that Sharp is injured, he'll know that you may be targeting Boyd a little bit. And that's the thing when you pick your own players for your own team, because people will know, okay, maybe he'll try and incentively go for that player to get the fantasy points.
Yeah.
So it's a whole new mind game that adds to the actual games itself.
Yeah, and then I went for the Pro Bowl receiver Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
Who's actually a 91 overall. Today I learned.
91.
97 speed as well.
Yeah, he's insane. Why have people not recognized him as a good player?
Double the X factor. He's had 1,000-yard seasons each of the past 3 years.
Yeah, he's third in the receiving yards list so far as well.
Double-digit
And
touchdowns.
I believe he's got double-digit touchdowns, and he's got the Cards next, who have one of like, I'd probably say like a top 5 bottom defense at the moment in the league. So
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel, for that reason, for everything we've said, I've also gone for him.
I mean, we love
He is my
Cardinals, we
trade-off.
love Jake, but the defense
Yeah.
needs to take a step up.
Yeah, and Blue is definitely a high-powered offense team.
Yeah, when he wants to be.
When he wants to be. he either crushes his opponents or gets crushed by opponents.
Yeah. But yeah, the big money makers at the top of the wide receiver list, you're looking at Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and that's who I've gone for. Tyreek Hill is my $5 pick to say, completes my $15. And yeah, he's led the wide receiving yardage, I think, for the past 2 years.
Yeah, 99
And
speed,
he's got-
99 XL. It's easy to see why.
Yeah, like for that value amount, I feel like he would give the production, especially against Jake, whose defense is known to be a bit iffy.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I would definitely take Hill over Jake.
against the Ravens, he had nearly a 30-point game, so definitely
Yeah,
one to
like
look out for.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Alright, so who would you say is the sleeper pick? So one player you think that people aren't picking much on, who you think could bring out the big yardage, even though they might be a low dollar player, you know, like they could bring that production.
I think Samuel has the potential to overtake someone like Washington. Maybe
For
even
sure,
Thomas
yeah,
as well. You know, he could be that kind of $4.5 player, but we've put him at 3. We'll see if we were right. What about you?
Yeah, regarding Washington and Thomas, so Michael Thomas was Chiefs' leading wide receiver in the first game, and he plays a Broncos team who've only put up 3 points and conceded like 40, I think.
Yeah.
And the same with Tom. Tom is playing a Browns team who are, you know, finding their feet. With Washington, it's a bit more risky because he also has Juju on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can agree with you with Samuel as one of the sleeper picks. I'm gonna be a bit biased here, and I'm gonna say Hob. Like I wasn't gonna say him before, and hear me out. So I've never had a 100 yardage rushing game with him since I think his rookie season. So last season I didn't get 1. And then all of a sudden against the Titans, Westbrook goes down. He's out for 4 weeks. You know, I've got rookie wide receivers and JJ Arcega-Whiteside, and I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden Hob was just popping off, and I got I think 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. So for $2, I would say Hob is the player value.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, the past 2 years you've had about, you know, between 5 and 6 yards per carry, but exploded with 12.7 against the Titans.
Yeah, out of nowhere. So I'm hoping that kind of production continues against the Redskins, but Redskins has been playing really well all of a sudden, so I don't know. Kind of worried about him as a player.
Yeah, let's have a look at Redskins and who he played in the first 2 games. He's 2-0 right now.
He is. He is leading the NFC East, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, completely blew out the Lions 52-21, and then beat the dangerous Seahawks 21-12.
Yeah, and the most impressive thing about that is that Danny's offense is super high powered. Like he is known for having an elite offense.
You say
A
that.
great passing game.
His QB did throw 4 interceptions and 1 touchdown.
Yeah. Thing is, yeah, he's got a rookie QB now, so maybe that's the factor.
He does.
But I did expect Danny to put up a bit more, you know.
Yeah, Cliff Booth. Did we put him on our QB list?
Cliff Booth is on our QB list. No, he's not. We took him out.
Yeah.
But Redskins have Garcia against me, and I did give up. I gave up 423 yards and 3 touchdowns against Jared Goff. So I want to see how many people actually picked Garcia, because I don't think anyone other than Redskins did.
Yeah, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone. Not even Redskins himself. Garcia could be. He could have a day. I'm pretty surprised. You know?
He is the sleeper pick for the sleeper pick.
Yeah, he is the sleeper pick.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game against the Lions, 300 yards, but then only 93 yards against Seattle, so bit of boom or bust.
Oh, okay. Yeah, boom or bust for sure. I don't know, we'll see about that one. And then, so talking about the $5 picks, maybe even $4, $3, who do you think will bring out the most production? Who do you think will be the leading point scorer this week?
The leading point scorer. I have a feeling it might be... I want to say one of the running backs. I think running backs are going to get a lot of points in this kind of system, so I'm going to go for the easy pick and say Kamara against the 49ers.
Yeah, Kamara against 49ers.
Collins known for that
would agree
high-powered
with you
offense. And it's not that
Yeah.
we want to disrespect Jake's defense, but some people are kind of matchup proof.
Yeah, exactly. I can agree with you there. Cohen is a weird one because Cohen is second on the rushing yards list, and Thief also did give up 200 yards to Barkley. However, every time, other than last year, I think when AJ actually beat Packers, normally whenever I see the games, Thief is like blowing out AJ, or he's always like being AJ,
Yeah.
But I feel like Cohen could go a bit under the radar, only because he gave up 200 yards to Barkley. So that's a huge amount,
Yeah.
A lot of people will never get 200 yards with their rushing back,
Yeah.
or running back even. Sorry.
I mean,
And,
Tariq Cohen just completely exploded against the Vikings. 289 yards, 3 touchdowns, 47 points.
Like, yeah, that is insane.
He's got the potential.
Yeah, and another one for me in QBs is Wentz. Now, I know Tom has been very, like, pro Wentz and Washington in the chats, and I can agree with him. I can see why.
Definitely
He's playing a Browns
self-confident.
defense. Yeah, self-confident, and you like that. You like to see that.
Something to note
Maybe
with Wentz,
Browns-
he does get rushing points.
He does.
He does.
How many rushing yards has he got in the past 2 games?
Well, if you just look at the fantasy points, he had 5 against the Chargers and 10 against Eddie with the Bills.
Oh, fair enough. See, I didn't even know Dan Leagues did that, so that's good.
Yeah, so his total for week 1 was 21, and in week 2 he had 15.
15, so not bad. What about Milton? Because I know Milton is a Russian QB.
Yeah, you always see Colin complaining about his abilities.
Oh yeah, he did get. I think he's a scrambler QB, but 2 passing thingy.
Yeah, he's got first one free as the X Factor, leapfrog, jukebox, and clutch.
Leapfrog, yeah. Leapfrog
Yeah.
is like probably the worst X Factor.
He didn't rush at all versus the Ravens, and against the Falcons, only 4 rushes for 12 yards and 1 point.
Only 4 rushes. Okay, maybe I'm a bit misinformed in Milton, but I do believe he is a Russian QB at first. But I mean, maybe he just doesn't need to run when he's got Tyreek Hill and Kamara on his team,
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, and
Yeah.
let's see, what else could we see?
Who do you think
Some
has
of
picked a
the-
good team?
Alright, let me check who's picked a good team. It's great to see that people have gone for different type of variants. So like
Definitely.
the first 3 picks alone, Dave has gone for a 5-4-3-2-1.
Yeah.
You have gone for a more middle-based 2
Yeah.
to 4s.
Yeah.
And then there's Edmo who's gone for 3 4s and then a 1 and a 2.
Yeah, he's gone all out in getting those studs that he wants.
Yeah. As for the best team, let's have a look.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are picking QBs, and they haven't really checked out the fantasy page. Because if you look at the
Yeah.
fantasy page, it seems like the running backs get more points than the wide receivers, who get more points than the quarterbacks. But a lot of people have gone out and got themselves like a $4, $5 QB.
Alright, I've seen one that I think could be interesting. So Texans, keep in mind he's playing the Giants. Texans has gone for Watson 1, and Texans is known for being a very annoying scrambling QB, like he can always get out of 3rd and long situations with Watson's ability, because
Definitely.
Watson is just OP.
I can attest to that from personal experience.
He's also gone for Barkley, so he thinks Barkley will have a day, and if you're coming up against Barkley, you probably would think the same thing, considering he did get 200 yards
Yeah.
against a great Packers defense. And then Sony Michel, who we said could produce some production, but then he's got Thomas and Hill as his wide receivers who are expected to go big.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick someone who I think would have the most points, I think honestly Texans could be a shout.
I'm going to pick Packers, Dip and Thief. He's got Josh Allen as a $2 QB. His running backs, you're happy to know, will be Hop Hop at $2 and Barkley at $4.
Hey,
And his receivers are Clifford Franklin and Tyler Boyd, $5 and $2. Clifford Franklin,
That's
not
a
someone that we've talked about so far.
So interestingly enough about Cliff Franklin, he was the leading wide receiver 2 years ago in his rookie year. Last year he had a bit of a down year, I believe, due to injury. And this year, Chargers has drafted another wide receiver who is named Clifford Franklin Jr. So there could be a bit of a production spread. I haven't actually seen the stats of him, so if you could get that up somehow.
Yeah, he's got 88 and 96 yards and a touchdown in each game.
Alright, so that is solid production, to be honest.
Yeah, he's
For
got
what he's
16 and 15 points.
16 and 15 points. Alright, then, he's playing the Raiders, who generally give up a lot of points in games.
Yeah.
And I actually did play Trent week 1. He did pretty well on my pass defense, on my stopping my offense, although I am not the best passer, I'll be the first one to say that. Not that good at passing. But maybe he's good at defense, but I'd expect Franklin to keep up the production he has been doing throughout the
Yeah,
season.
very consistent, and I think there's a lot of room to, raise that ceiling against the Raiders.
Yeah.
No disrespect, Trent.
Yeah. I'm also looking at a lot of teams. A lot of people are going for Isabella as the $1 pick now.
Yeah.
I can't remember how well he's done in his second and third year, but I believe he didn't do that good. But the first rookie year, he was amazing. Like,
He's kind of been force-fed so far this season.
He's been force-fed. So what's his stats looking like this season?
Well, compared to the rest of the team, he's got 11 catches, Philip Lindsay's got 5, and the next closest is Evan King, the tight end, with 2 catches.
Jeez, alright, yeah.
He had 11 catches for 137 yards against the Seahawks, so...
And yeah, that one is a bit risky, like Isabella is another boom or bust player, yes. But
Yeah.
it all depends really on how Panthers performs on that day. Because like you said, or like we said earlier, Panthers one day he could just blow an opponent out, the next day he's getting like crushed.
Yeah. So if we look at the schedule for week 3,
Yeah.
Cardinals is playing Panthers. How do we think Blue's gonna shut down in Andy Isabella?
Well, I mean, Blue has been on blistering form right now, so he pretty much did like shut down the Falcons, only lay up 3 points, I believe.
Yeah.
And week 1, I believe he played Con in week 1 and only held him to 24 points. Let me double check.
Yeah, I'll have a look. Nope,
Oh,
week
no,
1,
sorry.
Saints beat the Falcons quite a lot. He played Jake
Right, well,
in
he
week
gave up
1.
34 points, yeah. But, that's what I'm saying. Like, he'll either let up a lot of points or he'll just shut someone out, so...
Yeah, Dante Pettis had a good day, so definitely run for Andy Isabella, maybe another sleeper pick.
Yeah. And then, matchups, like, Chiefs v Broncos, I expect Chiefs to put up a high amount of offensive points, so if people have got Mahomes, you're looking at him to get a lot of production. Maybe even Hines. Hines is one, actually, I haven't, checked too much up on, but I know that the Chiefs starting running back did get injured.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes only got 2 touchdowns.
Only 2 touchdowns. How much yardage does he get there?
300 in the first game and nearly 400 against the Rams.
Jeez, so he's more of a yardage QB, but he'll get you those points.
Yeah, he had 20 points in week 1 and 12 in week 2, so who knows? Oh, look at those.
The one where I
those
expect
stats.
Wentz and Washington to just eat up that Browns defense. But I mean, the Browns did hold you relatively close,
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird game. I'm not gonna lie. I did try and run it up the middle quite a lot, and he shut that down very well.
Yeah.
So by the time I had adjusted, it was a little bit later. Really air it out. I think if we look at the schedule, I can't imagine I had too many passing attempts. Yeah, only 12 passing attempts, 4 completions, with 17 mix and rushes.
Alright, yeah, fair enough. And the thing with Tom is that his starting running back got injured for 8 weeks, so
Yeah.
he's probably going to go all out on the passing. So Wentz and Washington, if he spreads the production to Washington, that is, alongside Juju, they could be big picks too.
Yeah. Alright then, so should we end it there?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Alright. That has been your first ever RML Fantasy podcast for the first ever RML Fantasy week. We
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed. See you
President
again next
Flame.
time.